What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. We're going to be looking at these on the one-day time frame here. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at $47,000. We're down about 4% on the day. Main thing I want you to pay attention here to on the one-day time frame, guys, we've really been watching this blue trend line. And what you can see today is that we have not had our daily candle close yet, but we potentially could have a daily candle close outside of this trend line. If that is the case, what I would look for is to see if we could hold support down around 44,545. I have an alert right there at about 43,638 is what I'd have right there, because we would look to see if this support could hold. If that doesn't hold, we're going to look down to $42,000, and that was an area of really strong overhead resistance that we got up through. We have not back tested that yet, so that's definitely an area that we could come down to. And I want you to just be prepared for that, because you could also look into that area to think if that's going to be strong support, that potentially if we get a breakdown from here, could be a nice spot to do a long position, right? But we'd have to wait for more confirmation. We'd have to see what happens with this candle close today, if we're going to get a clean break to the downside, or if this is going to be somewhere we push down, back test the trend line, and then potentially drop farther to the downside. Now, the reason why I always talk about candle closes is because this candle still, guys, with another about 4 hours to go or so, this could get sucked up, and we could basically close our candle back up above this trend line, and that would be a bullish sign. And then we'd look up to see if we could get over top of about $50,502 is going to be the area that I'd look at. Now, on the one-day time frame here, what we're looking at is our relative strength at 56 right now. It is heading to the downside a little bit. If I can pull that up, guys, what you can see is price was making higher highs, and we were actually making lower highs here on the relative strength. So we had a little bit of that negative divergence there that you do need to be aware of. And then on the MACD, our histogram has ticked to the negative here, and we've had a downside cross on the one-day time frame. So we do want to keep an eye out on that as well. So for Bitcoin, these are the areas that I'm going to look at. And if you've watched some of the past videos, what we were looking at for resistance here, guys, if we go from our high down to our low, this 0.618, that's a lot of the times a sweet spot for both support and resistance. And what you can see, if we drag this down just a little bit more here, on some charts it's just a little bit different here, but what you can see is we made it up through that 0.618 a little bit, and now we're actually starting to fall back through it. So that's definitely an area that I'm watching to see if that's the rejection point, and now we're going to have to go lower, maybe down to that 0.382, which would also put us down around $40,000 to that $42,000 range. All right, so you can look at it both ways there. So that way we're looking at this downtrend and the reaction out of it. So from our high to our low, then you can also turn around this way here, and we can look at this move from our low to our high. And what you can see is the 0.382 lines up right around this $41,000 region as well. So watch that, and then the 0.5 would be back around 38,444, and then be down to that 0.618 at about $36,000. Is what I'm looking at. But I'm really watching the candle close for today, because I think that could be important to see if we do get an actual trend line break out of here. And many times a lot of the books will say that you want to see about a 3% penetration of that trend line with a close. So watch out for that as well. So that's going to be Bitcoin on the one-day time frame. If you guys get something from that, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it, guys, if you like these videos. Next, we're going to get into Ethereum, and let me know down low what you've been doing. If you've been trading, this is a tough area to trade right now. Like for Ethereum, we're just really ranging here between, we'll call it about 2,885 and 3,384. So kind of just bouncing back and forth. And right now we're right in the middle of this range. So definitely a tough area to trade right now. What I would potentially be waiting for is a break either to the upside or to the downside there, and see if we get some of that continuation. And then you can jump on that and ride it to the upside or the downside, because trading in these ranges here can be tough. Now, if we take a look at the EMAs, right now we're watching for this daily candle close. See if we can hold up above this 20 EMA. That'd be good for us here. If we do have a candle close below that, I would look down to our 50, and that's going to be at about 2,805. You can see if we just work our way down here, the 200 EMA, which we're trading well up above right now, that's going to put us back at about 2,268. So those are some of the downside areas that you want to pay attention to. To the upside, we're looking at that 3,356, and then it would be up to around about $3,500. It's going to be the area. The relative strength right now is at 54. If we take a look at the technicals, On the 1 day time frame, we have a 6 sell, a 10 neutral, and a 10 buy. Oscillators, a 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. Moving averages, 5 sell, 1 neutral, and a 9 buy. So just be careful in this area, guys. It can be tough playing some of those ranges. If we go down through like to the 12-hour time frame here, we have retraced pretty close to this 50 EMA. We want to see if we can hold that as support. If we get into the 4-hour, and you can see on the 4-hour right here, we've been in a little short-term downtrend. We have fallen below the 100 EMA there. We'll want to see if we can hold that or bust up through that. That's acting as overhead resistance right now, so we'll want to turn that into support. If not, we're going to look down at that 200 EMA. That's going to be at about $2,930. All right, so just be careful in the areas you're at right now. This is a really tough spot because we've had such a run here, guys. We've had such a move here of roughly, if we go from the bottom to the top, let me see. So for our price range from bottom to the top, we're looking at almost 100% here. So I wouldn't be shocked if we had some type of retracement of 20 or 30% before we potentially could even go higher, guys. But, you know, this has been one heck of a run here, and we really haven't got one of those big, deep corrections. Like even on the backside here, you can see we're getting these big corrections of a lot of percentage. So even this one here, you're talking 25%. So if we went down 25%, basically from where we're at now, that would almost put us back to that 200 EMA, and that could be back around, call it $2,300. And all these things are possible, and that could give you a potential good buy opportunity, guys. So that's why you just have to watch these things from both sides. Think like a bull, think like a bear, and really, you know, have a plan and strategize. So next, what we're going to do is go into Litecoin. If you're here for Litecoin, smash up that thumbs button. Let me know that you're here for Litecoin so I can keep continuously covering this for you guys. Litecoin on the 1 day time frame right now, we're trying to hold up above this 200 EMA, so we need to stay up above that. That's at $167. I would put an alert on that, because if we start having daily candle closes below that, we could drop down to some lower levels at around $145. So definitely keep an eye on this area right here, guys. This is a hot spot for us here, because in this trend line, if we draw this here, you can see that we did have a little bit of a trend line break. So if we draw that, what it almost looks like is we've had a trend line break, we've back tested, and we're going to have to see if we can get back inside that trend line, or if we're going to make another fall to the downside here. So this is going to be the daily candle, and you can see where we're at here. We have a lot of work to do if we're going to get back up inside that trend line right now. So still just a tough area, guys. This is an area that I'd say just be cautious, because if Bitcoin does decide to take a dump of maybe $2,000 or $3,000, it's most likely going to bring these coins down with it, and people would be looking to say, okay, this potentially is almost a little double top up here. See if you get follow through to the downside. Maybe look for another area a little bit lower to be a buyer. If you throw a fib on that, what you look at is maybe that 50 at $141 is 0.382. That's at like 151. If we do have a break there, in the 0.618 at 131. So just being more cautious in this range. If we take a look at the fib in the other direction and see how much reaction we have had out of here. So if we go from our high of about 415, so we've made it up to the 0.382. Today we potentially could close below that, so we have not made it up to around that 0.618 like Ethereum. That would put us all the way back to roughly, or to Bitcoin was that 0.618. So that would take Litecoin back to about $244 if we did get to that range. So, you know, guys, my opinion here is I got some cash patiently waiting, and if we do get a nice drop, I'm going to see what type of bullish candlestick pattern that we do get off some of these Fibonacci levels is kind of what I'm looking at here. And then if we get into the technicals, you can see how neutral we are here for Litecoin. So like I was talking, guys, just a tough situation here. And this is the first time I've looked at this. It says 9 sell, 10 neutral, and a 7 buy. Oscillators 2 sell, 9 neutral, and a 0 buy. Moving averages 7 sell, 1 neutral, and a 7 buy. So it's really a coin toss here. It's just going to depend on what the whales want to do. Be cautious out there, guys. Have a plan if we drop to the downside. Have a plan if we start to make a nice strong move to the upside, what you're going to do. Look at some of these target areas. God bless you all. Take care.